Alright, so apparently it's getting a little gnarly. We're gonna turn this back on.
What is going on, adventurers? Welcome back, and you're watching the Continental Divide, The Hard Tracks, Part 2, Episode 8. I hope you enjoy this episode. I thank you for your support. Enjoy the ride.
It's so hard to see. Still in New Mexico. Mexico's giving us its last 1-2 punch. I'm on the trail here. I'm on the detour, I guess. The trail does come right back to it. Oh gosh. Well, that was fun. And that kind of makes a tire popper.
The guys who ride the Continental Divide on bicycles are a different breed. We saw several of them on the northern section and the southern section, and these guys are out in the middle of nowhere by themselves typically. That little pack, on the rear is enough to pack like a shelter, what water or snack they need to make it to the next checkpoint. They're hardcore, and the terrain is not always captured very well on GoPro. This is some tough stuff, and it's tough on a motorcycle. Those guys have a next level respect from me, being able to tackle that, and huge kudos to them. We never had an issue where we nearly ran one over or anything like that, but they are all over the place, so if you're out there riding, just keep that in mind. I remember it being very windy up here, and you can see there, when you're outside of tree cover on the side of a mountain, you can only imagine, the force of the wind that's blowing through there typically throughout the day. And it ate up a lot of the footage up here, so I have removed the sound from it to spare you guys on that. But it was beautiful up there, very windy. It did, at one point I tried to stop and take a picture and couldn't because the bike wouldn't stay on the peg.
that Jeep get up here? There's tire tracks over it. I couldn't stop. Yeah, I couldn't take a picture. Yeah. You almost went down, Brad. Woo. The same for me. Snow. Oh gosh. Wide load. The wind is too much.
This whole area up here in northern New Mexico was challenging. Pretty much for the entirety of the stretch, out of New Mexico into Colorado, there was around the turn a new challenge. It wasn't just, your typical straightaway or wide open runs. There were, not super gnarly stuff. There is went down a hill here soon that was very challenging, that the video does nearly no justice to. If you're coming up that hill, it is going to be a challenge. There's no doubt. It is loose rock, not great traction, because you're sliding on the top of those rocks. So yeah, just look out. Just an FYI that this is that hill that's a challenge. It doesn't look like it, but man, coming up this I'd be sweating.
Big rock. That lost it. Lord.
watching that on film, there's no comparison. The grade was so steep on that. So much steeper, let me word this correctly, so much steeper than what it looked like on that. And if you go ride that, you will find that out very quickly.
That was intense, dude. Holy crap. Some water.
Ask and you shall receive. I need some water, and here it is.
Got my water out. Mexico, bro. It's trapping my... Workout, man. I ain't skipped any days at the gym this week. Hold them there, Zan. Dang, that wind. Wind blew me out of my line. No thanks. She's gonna make it ugly, is she? Oh. Dang with them dips. Good Lord. That just sounds freaking insane, dude. Reminiscent of, you know, where I wanted to be.
Yes, back on the ground. I feel like it's a very familiar position for my bike on this trip. So consider that when you are picking the tool for the
Yeah,
job.
all good.
The northern
Wasn't paying
half
attention.
of the Continental Divide was very mid-sized to big adventure bike friendly. And I would say most of the southern portion from Colorado south is as well. But if you choose to hit hard tracks, if you go searching after the hard stuff, consider a dual sport motorcycle. I think you'll be better suited on something, doing something like that as opposed to riding a mid-size through it. It was still a blast. I had a freaking awesome time. And you're going to go down, that's just part of it. But man, it sure makes it easier on those pickups, I can tell you.
I knew it was coming. Made it all the way down that hill. And then dropped it at Matt. Loss of focus. Sucks, I got wet. Dang. Went up my pants into my top of my boot. I think just the top of my chin is wet, that's all. Dude, are these sheepies? Sheepies! They're everywhere. Daisy pot. Sheepies. Hey puppers. Oh, that is freaking cool. Oh, dang. I got my butt kicked. Straight down. Gosh. Come on, baby. Keep moving. A little off the trail there, but all right. The optional route. Might have taken the hard track. Oh no.
The sign on the left there around the corner is the state line leaving New Mexico and into Colorado. We finally made it. New Mexico was such an adventure. Beautiful state and the most challenging by far that I've ever ridden through. Colorado, we're here. Let's have some fun. So our first trip 2 years ago started at the Canadian border in Eureka, Montana, and we headed south 1,656 miles in 6 days. Colorado was the end goal on that trip, and we made it into Steamboat Springs before we called it, because there was a short section of pavement that just would link up with the next portion of the trip that we were going to do. And we had decided to call it in Steamboat and then turn around, whenever we got to come back and ride to that point again. Now, ending the trip in Colorado, doing it the way we did, starting north, ending in Colorado, and then starting at the southern border, ending in Colorado, gave you that goal, that end goal to get to Colorado, because Colorado is definitely one of the most beautiful states in the United States. Knowing that Colorado, was the end goal, pushes you to ride harder or longer, longer days, because when you get there, you're going to be rewarded with so many different beautiful scenes of landscapes. And it truly did. I believe that it pushed us because we knew what Colorado looked like, and we knew that if we got there with enough time to ride, we could see a lot more of it. So this area was really beautiful, and a lot of wind noise ate up my footage. I'm going to be getting a new GoPro with boom to improve that, but that is why I've run the volume down and just dubbed in some music. While I have you, the area to your left there is the Conejos River. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it's a tributary of the Rio Grande. It spans approximately 92.5 miles long. It's in south central Colorado. It drains into a scenic area of the eastern San Juan Mountains, which is technically right around where we are at, the San Juan Mountain range. If you're ever in the area, it's a beautiful spot to stop. There's a couple of lodges with little cabins along this river, and it is unbelievably gorgeous there. The water is like blue, clear, and it's so cool there at night. You don't need AC. With that river, there are several types of trout that make their home the Conejos. But the Antonito, Colorado area is primarily known for its rainbow, brown, and cutthroat fish. So there are guided tours and things like that you can do if you're in the area and you're an angler. You can fish out of the river and stuff. So yeah, just thought I would share a couple of facts about that as we're riding along and in complete silence. But yeah, all right, thanks guys. So we stopped in here at the Skyline Lodge in Platoro, Colorado, and these little cabins were for rent. Were very nice. I don't remember if they had gas there or not, but they did have, snacks, food. I think there was a little restaurant in there. The sleeping arrangements were like little cabins with separate rooms, very reasonably priced. We did not end up staying here, and I kind of wish we did. But we ended up making our way more north because we still had daylight to burn. For those of you that are not familiar with Colorado and are looking at this footage thinking, man, I want to go there. I would say Colorado is, aside from Alaska, like the last frontier. I know that a large percentage of Colorado makes up a large percentage of like undeveloped land in the United States, and I don't know exactly how much that is. I do know it's home to some of the country's tallest mountains and has the highest mean elevation of any U.S. state. The federal government also owns a third of the land in Colorado, so there's a lot of it that's undeveloped, which is nice.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot.
Came into that turn a little too hot, and I can tell you that would have been bad news had I gone off the side of that. I'd have been done. That right there was a great example of why you want to ride to the right best you can. Had I come around that blind turn on his side or come into that turn too fast, I would have tattooed that guy.
Coming in hot.
So if you remember in episode 7 at the beginning, I was talking about taking some hard hits on the front wheel, just keeping an eye on your air pressures. Well, I just picked up a huge knife blade, tore about a 3.5-inch gash in my brand new rear Motaz Desert HT. It ruined the tire. So this was about 7 p.m., maybe a little after, and we're up on the mountain in the San Juan Mountain range in Colorado, and I've got a flat. Luckily, my brother was behind me. He was able to pull up. I screamed at him like, "Hey!" He did stop, and we pit crewed it on the side of the mountain there, propped it up on some rocks, and I'll include pictures of that in the credits. But we went to check my front tire pressure, and I was at 10 psi. So I should have checked it at camp. Pretty dangerous, to be running, especially that low at these speeds. So yeah, just make sure you're checking your tire pressures. Ironically, the Aprilia comes with a tubeless tire setup, but we had to throw that rear tube in there because the tire was ruined. But we carried spare tools, spare parts, and that's how we got off the mountain. Always be prepared for the worst.
Well, just got done with the Trailside repair. Uncomfortable when you're running these late night tracks, or really any time, honestly. Chris took a wrong turn and turned around. Look at that. Here, a little buck. It's a dope.
So I never finished my thought there, but yeah, Chris had made a wrong turn and turned around, and had he not made that wrong turn, I don't know how long it would have been before they came back for me. It could have been 30 minutes, because this was a long trail and we typically see each other at the next turn. So luckily for me, Chris had made a wrong turn and gotten in behind me because he was in lead at the beginning. Then Brad passed me, so I thought, they're both ahead of me. I'm going to have to change this thing on my own, which I could have, but in the instance of late at night on the mountain, strange place, 1,000 miles from home, kind of rattles you a little bit. It's like, all right, take a deep breath, come back to earth. You've done this before, just kind of keep your head about you. And but luckily he came riding by, and when I saw him, I was like, holy crap, that's my savior. But yeah. So that's where I was going with that. I didn't finish the thought process, but it's like, squirrel. It's easy to get distracted out there with all the beauty out there on the divide.
Running a tube in the rear. It's our last rear tube. I've got a front tube. Trying to take it easy, man, so we can get to town. I busted my freaking jam, but it'll be all right.
So I didn't bust the rear wheel there, but it did have a little gash in it from where I hit a rock after it went flat.
Just trying to limp it to town.
So unapologetically, I have not made a lot of cuts towards the end of this episode, and it's because Colorado's so pretty. I hope that it's becoming more and more watchable for each of you guys. Recently hit the 700 subscriber mark, and I can't be thankful enough for you guys sharing in our adventures with us, and being able to see, being able to hop on the bike with me and the guys and tour the Continental Divide together. As episode 8 draws to a close, it gave me new appreciation for the state of New Mexico. What a challenging and awesome adventure it was. Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And just remember, it's never too late to become who you've always wanted to be. Make it count, adventurers, and I'll see you next time.